Good morning and welcome to the December 13th, 2024 edition of the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. Today we are very lucky to have in our midst Jeff Morris. He's going to be presenting today on effective resumes. Jeff, as always, glad to have you back and thanks for pinch hitting. As usual, our agenda is success stories, job leads, 30-second introductions, the committee reports, and then Jeff Morris is our main event. So, success stories. Anyone in the room land this week? I don't see any donuts. It's kind of a tease, right? Walt, you want to talk about Army?
I don't have the information up right
now. Oh, okay.
I need it up in a minute if you wanted to.
All right. We'll come back. Anyone online have a success story? Any good interviews?
I hadn't interviewed this week.
Okay. Patty, go ahead while we find Penn a microphone.
Okay. So I interviewed on Tuesday for a director level role at a marketing research company. And so we will see next week if I'm going to move forward with this. It's a fairly small startup marketing research company. So I know that I'd be able to help in either sales and or operations. So it's a matter of whether or not it's going to be an exact fit for me. But if not, I keep plugging away. So I will follow up again with the hiring manager on Monday or Tuesday.
Penn.
Yes, I actually had an interview 2 days ago with a company here in town called Cellgate. Met with their current contractor who's heading up their marketing department, and was able to talk to them about what they're looking to do and waiting to hear back next week. And then I have another interview next week with another company that's more in the security business, but also a SaaS provider. And we'll be meeting with the hiring manager next week as well. So after a little bit of a downtime, things are popping back up a little bit again. With the exception of my coffee this morning that I got at McDonald's, which usually will melt your face off, and this is cold.
Really?
I'm disappointed.
They got sued for being so hot. Yeah, I guess they swung too far the other way.
Have ice cubes on. It's ridiculous. I don't drink.
Are you sure you didn't order an iced coffee?
No, I did not.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have a great interview? All right. Do you find Army's information? So Army Shaw has been with us for a little while. He announced through Judy Wardle yesterday at Southlake. And for those of you that didn't hear that, Walt's going to announce for him today.
Yes, Army sent me an email, 290 words, and so I sent it to chat and said, please summarize, and this is what chat came out with. Says, after being laid off from AT&T after 20 years, I faced a tough job market, but quickly adapted. The research identified growth areas like cybersecurity and AI. I honed my interview skills with the Dallas Pit Crew and networked through SFG, Southlake Focus Group, which led to an opportunity at CBS Health for critical response manager role. After 3 interviews over 6 weeks, I secured the position by emphasizing my personal and leadership skills to stand out among strong competition. Now, the background on that was a lot of his interviews were technical, and he began to look overqualified. So he switched to his interpersonal skills and his leadership skills going forward. My advice to job seekers: stay resilient. Rejections taught me to refine my approach and focus on interpersonal skills alongside technical expertise. Showcase, this is your advice to you, showcase your adaptability and enthusiasm through certifications, challenging projects, and networking events. Treat setbacks as stepping stones. And remember, it's the mileage that matters, not the age. Good luck out there.
That's great. Well, Army, if you're out there, Congratulations. Come back and see us and let us know how it's going.
What's amazing was I was able to do all of that in about 30 seconds.
That was amazing.
Yeah, and so Paul didn't do that, so I'm really proud of myself.
Nice job. All right. Job leads. Are any of our recruiters online today?
Yes, we are. How are you guys this morning?
Tracy, how are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Most of you, so I'm Tracy Harris. I'm with Thomas Edwards Group, and we're a boutique recruiting firm specializing in accounting, finance, HR, and IT roles in the DFW area, perm and contract to hire. And we work with various clients and sizes of companies, but those are the areas of focus we typically focus in: accounting, finance, HR, and IT. But happy to join y'all today.
Thank you, Tracy. As usual, I'll give you a shout out and your contact information in the follow-up email after the meeting.
Excellent. Sounds great.
Okay. Have you been getting those? I think
Yes,
I'm remembering to
yes.
copy you on those. Okay, great. All right. As always, thank you for being here. And I met your CEO this week. I ran into somebody at a Christmas party who knew him and connected me, looked at my resume, said it was very strong, which is always validating when the president of a recruiting firm or staffing firm says your resume looks good. That was validating. And then because I'm IT, passed me on to
Shika.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Excellent. Cliff Edwards is yes, majority owner of our organization. He's great.
So yeah, nice guy. So and by the way, I gave you some to him.
Yes, I saw that.
Here.
He
Did you see
reached
that?
out and let me know. I greatly appreciate that.
Of course, of course. We greatly appreciate you being here. So that's the least I could do.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Time for introductions. If you are online in the Zoom chat box, please add your name, position, email, city, because we like to know how far our reach is, phone, and 2 or 3 target companies that people can help you with. For those in the room, this is your script. If you would come up to the laptop. Oh. Got 2 monitors going today. Give us your name, your title, where you need contacts, where you can help other people with contacts, and then you repeat your name. And if you need guidance on how to pronounce your name with a nice pause in between your first and last name, look no further than Anthony Autry. Or should I say Anthony Autry? All right. Anthony, with that, you want to come up and introduce yourself? And if the rest of you would kind of line up so we can get through this quickly and get to the folks online, that'd be great. All right, here we go.
Good morning, everyone. Hope y'all having a great week. My name is Anthony Autry. I'm a senior retail operationist. I help the company drive robust sales. At the same time, make a whole lot of money and reduce costs at the same time. Currently, I'm reassessing my target company, Anthony Autry.
Thanks, Anthony. Ben? You're not that old. Come on.
You know, it's one of those parts. So yeah, hi, I'm Penn Hoyt. I'm Director of Marketing in the B2B space. I have contacts in a variety of industries, going from software to tech to telecom to import. I'm looking for a connection at ShareTrue. That's who I have an interview with next week. Would like to talk to some other people within the company and find out some more things about it. Again, my name is Penn Hoyt. That's 2 X.
Like the tennis balls.
I've got a lot of things I can say about that.
Well, maybe that's opinion.
Good morning. My name is Tim Lugie. I'm looking for a job in information security. I'd like to have contact at Citibank, and I have contacts at PepsiCo. Again, my name is Tim Lugie. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Morning, everybody. Mitch Birchfield. Been in IT for about 20 years, PC support mainly. Last job was with Wells Fargo. I worked on the enterprise team. Helped remediate over 500,000 security vulnerabilities across the printer fleet for them in about a 2-year period. And just looking to stay in that game. Don't really have any target companies or anything, just seeing what's out there. Mitch Birchfield. Thanks.
Thank you, Mitch. William. He's got his coffee.
All right, sure, I'm all in. All right, that looks good. Good morning, everybody. My name's William McLaughlin. Currently seeking a business analyst role and looking for contacts at the Container Store, Dave & Buster's. Again, my name is William McLaughlin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, William. Nice to see you for the 3rd time this week.
If you haven't announced yet, come on down and you can sign in.
Phil,
Introduce yourself, Phil.
come on down. You're the next contestant.
You shamed me into it. You did that, I think, in one breath, not just in 30 seconds. You're good at that.
Bottom line.
Good morning. Let's get this word more than my chest to see. I'm Phil Elsner. Besides being 6'6", I'm also a project manager and am interested in the health profession. All my degrees are biomedical sciences. I've got an IT background, and I'm recently re-entering the job search market as a senior project manager with close to 20 years of experience doing that. Last night, the Dallas chapter of Project Management Institute met, and we had some really good conversations there. Again, I'm Phil Elsner.
Thank you, Phil.
I'm not going to throw this. Who's coming up next?
Come on.
Come
Mike.
on down.
Mike.
Big.
Morning, everyone. Hi, my name is Mike Belzil. I'm looking for a product management role or a program management role, focus on data and analytics solutions. So I'm looking for contacts at target companies, Frito-Lay and HEB, and I have contacts at Walmart and Accenture. So my name is Mike Belzil.
Thank you, Mike.
Then we got one more.
Hi, my name is Dustin Piercy. I'm a construction project manager. We got a background in accounting, really solid with analytical skills as far as cost control goes. Currently right now, my target companies are Beck. Again, my name is Dustin Piercy.
Thanks, Dustin. I'll be right there.
Okay, now for our online people. We have so you see the outline that you can use. Hopefully you put some information in the chat window also. So we'll start. Patty, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Patty Bashy. I'm looking for an account director, senior customer success manager, working at a marketing research company. I need contacts at Ipsos and Mintel, and I have contacts at Nielsen and Kantar. My name is Patty Bashy.
Thanks, Patty. Vitaly.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vitaly Platonov. I'm looking for position of supply chain manager or logistics manager or assistant manager. I need currently contacts at Rivian, Lucid, and Peterbilt. I have contacts at Hyundai Motor America. My name is Vitaly Platonov. Thank you.
Thanks, Vitaly. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning. My name is Amy Fleming. I'm looking for a Senior Director of Human Resources. I'm not looking for contacts, but if you know anyone hiring for my role, please let me know within your network. I have contacts at Google, T. Rowe Price, Bechtel, and Lucid. My name is Amy Fleming.
Thank you, Amy. Hello, Graciela.
Good morning. My name is Graciela Custer. I'm not seeking a full-time position right now, but a part-time contract position with cash data consulting, but I wanted to say hi and stay in contact when I am ready to search a full-time job in digital marketing. I have contacts, so just wanted to say hi.
Thank you very much. Jody.
Hi, my name is Jody Dolberg. I'm looking for an IT operations or director of IT position. I'm not looking for any contacts right now. I have lots of contacts in IT if you're looking to hire. And I have contacts at JCPenney, Rexel, and CDM Smith. My name is Jody Dolberg.
Thank you, Jody. Michael.
Good morning. My name is Michael Wilk. I'm looking for jobs in quality engineering for software engineering, systems engineering, and programming and program management. I don't have any targeted companies at this time. I'm looking in the aerospace defense industry. My name is Michael Wilk.
Thank you, Michael. Miguel.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Miguel Castillo. I'm looking for a VP or Director of Financial Planning and Analysis, or just plain finance. Need contacts at Stellantis Financial Services US and Capital One. Have contacts at Amazon and American Airlines. My name is Miguel Castillo.
Thank you, Miguel. Peter. Hello, Peter.
Sorry about that. I couldn't find the unmute button because I'm on my cell. Good morning, everybody. I am Peter Watson, the token Englishman. I'm a services delivery and project manager, either or. I'm looking for remote work or Plano and surrounding cities. One of my targets is Frontier, and another one is Cognizant, over in the park near the 121 and the tollway. I have contacts I can share at Verizon, Ericsson, and also Tempest Telecom. My name is Peter Watson.
Peter.
And I'm about to make an in-person appearance as well. I'm in the car park.
Well, drive safely. Hopefully you're parked.
I am.
All right, good. Rosina.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I'm your Career Tip of the Week host. I'm currently looking for a Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner position, or otherwise known as a Senior Recruiter. And I am looking at, as far as companies, I have contacts across a variety of different companies. So as I hear them, I'll reach directly out to you guys. As far as the contacts that I'm looking for this week, Goldman Sachs, Deloitte, Delta Dental, Unum Dental, MetLife, and ADP. Again, Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rosina. You know, you have the most sought after contact list that anyone ever gives. You always have a lot of good companies there for us to take a look at. Hello, Scott.
Hey.
Mr. Boudreaux. Chandra.
Hello, my name is Chandra Thomas, and I'm looking for administrative support coordinator position. The only contact I have, I'm looking for is Blue Cross Blue Shields of Texas. And I don't have any connected companies right now. So again, my name is Chandra Thomas.
Hello, Steve. I was afraid you were not going to be here today.
Yes, the wife decided she needed the computer at 9 o'clock. Thank you. My name is Steve Rowan. I'm a retired .NET developer, and I like to keep up with what's going on in the recruiting world, and so that's why I come to this meeting every week. And my name is Steve Rowan.
Okay, we'll go back to Scott. You're online now, Scott?
Were you calling me?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I'm half distracted. My wife has her lunch now, and it's only time she can
Oh,
talk.
that's 2 wives we're blaming. We're at the limit.
Okay, Scott Boudreau, looking for a supply chain job in central New Jersey or remotely. If it has a part number, I can manage it. If it doesn't, I'll create one. Scott Boudreau.
Okay, did I miss anyone?
Yes, I'm Elaine Small. I'm a senior search consultant at Thomas Edwards Group with Tracy Harris. We have over 70 direct hire roles at this time. We specialize in accounting, finance, IT, and HR. I've put my contact information as well as Tracy in the chat. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please check out our website, thomasedwards.com, and see all available jobs as well as contract roles. My name is Elaine Small.
Thank you, Elaine. I saw your information in the chat. And I thought we might have heard from you when we were talking about leads and things. All right, good enough. Glad to have you here with us, and thank you so much for participating with us and offering the services. Anyone else? Anybody in the room? Any latecomers wasn't looking, hasn't introduced themselves? Everybody done it? All right. Turn it back over to you, Mr. Keeman.
Thank you very much. I am also, like you, looking for a job. Matt Keelan, IT VP or Director. American Airlines can help you with Cherry Becker and Grant Thornton. Matt Keelan. How'd I do, Anthony? He's giving me a thumbs up.
Which is okay in this country.
That's right.
But not in others.
Exactly. All right, Rosina, it is time for our career tip of the week. Thanks as always.
Not a problem. All right. Again, good morning, everybody. All right. So this week's tip of the week, I want to say, listen to it, even though the title says one group of people that I'm targeting, look at it from the perspective of your discipline, your industry, you as an individual, and your job title, and edit it to fit. All right. So this week's tip of the week is, again, we're continuing on competency-based interview questions and how to best navigate those. And so this week's tip of the week is competency-based interview questions for executives with examples. And so lots of good verbiage in this article. It's 11 pages when you get it. And so just make sure you read through it and see what you can use to enhance what you're already doing. So this article is by Zena Panagopoulos. So the table of contents, we're going to focus on what are competency-based interview questions, 15 competency-based questions for executive interviews, key competencies evaluated in executives, how to answer competency-based questions. Step 1, identify potential questions. Step 2, develop relevant stories. And step 3, structure your answer using the STAR technique. And then focusing on competency-based interview questions and examples, tips for excelling at competency-based interviews for executives, and then conclusion. So competency-based interview questions are one of the most popular categories of interview questions, and without reason. They are focused and they reveal a lot about candidates' skills, past experiences, and mindset. These questions are particularly prevalent in interviews for senior level positions and tend to be a focus on in the early interview stage. So in this blog, we'll guide you through the understanding of what these questions are, why they are essential, and how to answer them effectively using the STAR technique. So first, what are competency-based interview questions? They require candidates to provide real-life examples that demonstrate specific skills or attributes, such as leadership, problem solving, or adaptability, typically framed as tell me about a time when, or give me an example of, or of how you did whatever it is. And these questions aim to uncover how candidates have handled real world situations. Excuse me. This helps employers evaluate how candidates might perform in similar roles in their future. So 15 competency-based interview questions for executive interviews. Now here's a list of just 15, I would say common. There are more, as we've discussed over the last several weeks, but we're just going to focus on 15 today. So they focus on areas such as strategic decision-making, leadership, and crisis management. And of course, like I said, there's plenty more out there. So first, leading through change. You want to describe, and when you're looking at this competency, it's asking for describe a significant change that you initiated and how did you manage that transition? Second, strategic decision making. Can you provide an example of a tough strategic decision that you made and what are the outcomes or what were the outcomes? Third, innovative thinking. Tell me about a time when you brought innovation to your organization. Fourth, crisis management. Describe how you handled a crisis in your previous role. Fifth, building and leading teams. How do you build and maintain high-performing teams? Sixth, global leadership. Can you discuss your experience managing global teams? 7, fiscal responsibility. Describe a time when you had to cut costs or manage a budget effectively. 8, ethical leadership. Provide an example of how you handled an ethical dilemma. 9, client relationships. Tell me about a time you turned a negative client situation into a positive one. 10, adapting to technology. How have you integrated new technologies into your organization? 11, corporate social responsibility. How do you ensure your company practices corporate social responsibility? 12, supporting others. Tell me about a time you supported a coworker who was struggling. 13, diversity and inclusion. How do you prioritize diversity and inclusion in your leadership approach? 14, managing growth. Describe your experience in scaling a business and managing growth. And then 15, continuous improvement. How do you measure and ensure continuous improvement in your organization? Some key competencies evaluated in executives. So when interviewing for executive positions, employers look for competencies that are critical for high-level performance and strategic decision-making. And some common competencies would include leadership, strategic thinking, resilience, communication, problem-solving, innovation, fiscal acumen, visionary leadership, and integrity and ethics. So how to answer competency-based interview questions. To effectively tackle those questions, it's critical to structure your responses in a manner that demonstrates your relevant skills and how you will address potential challenges in the new role that you're applying for. You want to use the STAR method, and it's a great tool for organizing your answers to illustrate clearly your competencies through concrete examples. And so step by step, first you want to identify potential questions. The first step in preparing for competency-based questions is to identify the types of questions that you're likely to be asked. Start by analyzing those types of jobs that you're applying for. Focus on the common scope of work and requirements, and consider your career goals and the specific competencies that are crucial for those roles. Second step, you want to develop relevant stories. You want to reflect on your past roles and experiences to come up with stories that align closely with the questions you've identified. Focus on instances where you've demonstrated the specific skills and competencies required for the job. And if you can't think of the exact matches, then focus on transferable skills, abilities, and competencies that are valuable across different roles in different industries, such as leadership, problem solving, and communication. Step 3, you want to structure your answer using the STAR method. And all of us know, STAR, situation, task, action, and result. For the situation, you want to describe the context within which you are operating. Don't assume that the person listening really understands, so describe it well. The task, what were your responsibilities? The action, detail the specific actions that you took to address the situation. And result, explain the outcomes of your actions. And this method keeps the structure for your responsibilities in a clear, concise, and engaging manner, ensuring that you highlight your competencies effectively. So moving on to competency. Oh, sorry. Last one is step 4, practice your answers. And of course, here on Career DFW, we constantly talk about practice interviews and how it will help you be successful in your next interview. So moving on to competency-based questions and examples, there are 12 examples that are listed here. I'm just going to highlight each one, but just know there's a question prompt, an answer strategy, and an example answer under each one. So the first one, leading through change. Question prompt, describe a significant change that you initiated at your organization and how did you manage the transition? Answer strategy, describe your methodology for leading change, emphasizing your strategic planning, stakeholder engagement, and communication skills, and highlight how you anticipate potential challenges and mitigate them through proactive leadership. It's crucial to demonstrate that your ability to not only initiate change, but to also sustain momentum through team motivation and adaptive strategies. And then an example answer would be, at my previous company, we were struggling with outdated systems that hindered productivity and innovation. I led a major digital transformation initiative to modernize our IT infrastructure, and the challenge was significant due to employee resistance and potential disruption to ongoing projects. I started by establishing a clear vision and detailed roadmap, then communicated regularly with the stakeholders to ensure, excuse me, to ensure alignment and address concerns. And we provided comprehensive training to equip everyone for the transition. This proactive approach resulted in a 35% increase in operational efficiency. So that is the example of the structure that's used for each of the competencies. So second is strategic decision making. Third is innovative thinking. Fourth, crisis management. Fifth, building and leading teams. Sixth, global leadership. 7, fiscal responsibility. 8, ethical leadership. 9, client relationships. 10, adapting to technology. 11, corporate social responsibility. And 12, supporting others. So tips for excelling at competency-based interviews for executives. First, you want to self-reflect. And so before the interview, take a deep dive into your personal or professional history, and then just reflect on pivotal moments, projects, or challenges where you demonstrated the competencies required for the C-suite role. Second, you want to utilize varied examples. And so relying solely on your recent and high-profile examples might not be fully demonstrated, but you want to make sure that you provide depth of experience and mix in different scenarios from various points in your career to show consistency and growth in your competencies. Third, you want to emphasize learning and growth. When using the STAR technique, consider adding a learning segment to your answers. After describing the result, reflect on what experience taught you and how it shaped your subsequent decisions and leadership style. Next, you want to stay relevant and concise. While detail is important, excessive information can detract, from varied points when you need to communicate. So keep your answers concise and focused on the elements that are very relevant to the question and your role. And then lastly, you want to prepare for variations. Competency-based interview questions can be phrased in a variety of ways. And so be prepared to adapt your stories to fit different questions. Have a flexible mindset, and that will allow you to smoothly tailor your examples to the specific competencies the interviewer is probing. Lastly, and in conclusion, competency saying this over and over. Competency-based interview questions are more than just a challenge. They are an opportunity. They allow you to showcase your leadership, strategic thinking, and problem-solving skills in a way that resonates with decision makers. By preparing thoughtfully and responding effectively, you position yourself as a candidate who is not only capable, but also ready to lead and inspire. And as you reflect on your past roles and prepare your responses, keep the job description and desired competencies in mind. Practicing your responses using the STAR method that will give you a good structure for your answer, ensuring you convey your experiences compelling during the interview. And for expert advice, I just want to remind you that we have free resources that are part of Career DFW. The first is the PIT Crew. For details, visit dallaspitcrew.com. And then the second is our own Walt Glass, the Interview Success Workshop by Walt Glass. And it's in his About section that has all of the details of how to sign up for his workshop. Please also use this article's URL to make sure that you can go right to the website and go through the article and make sure you click on all the active links. There's a wealth of additional resources hidden behind each link. And then, as always, Career DFW does not endorse or promote the sign up of any membership, subscription, or service. We are strictly sharing information produced by organizations to educate the job seeker community as a way to assist you in part of your job search strategy to find the right people, information, and opportunities to land your next career. We encourage you to seek out, research, and use information on your own from a variety of resources. So I hope you can glean a lot of detail and good information from this resource. And I wish everyone a wonderful weekend. Again, this is Rosina Gallman saying, research your article on competency-based interview questions for executives and with examples. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you, Rosina. Always a pleasure. All right, Walt.
Hello, everyone. As Rosanna just mentioned, my name is Walt Glass, and that I offer a free interview success workshop. Do look up the About section to get details. The high-level details are you have to be registered to attend. We're going to focus on learning how to sell ourselves. So all the information about contacting me and when it is and all that is in the About section. I do it on Tuesdays, and I have one opening next Tuesday, which is the last opening for the year. So first come, first served. If you want to sign up for, I think it's the 17th or something like that. Be sure to send me an email to me. And my Yahoo email address is on my LinkedIn banner page to do that. So I call it Learning Without Squirming, because this is not a mock interview, it's really a learning. Well, of all days to take a longer poem, this today. And so for those of you that were at Pit Crew, you already know this, what I'm going to do. So how many of you are familiar with Lewis Carroll's poem called Jabberwocky? Okay, maybe you've heard of it, something like that. Well, I did something with Jabberwocky, but you first need to know what Jabberwocky is before what I did to it. So Jabberwocky is 'twas brillig in the slide, the toasted guy given with a wave, all mimsy were the boar grabbers, and the moan wraths outgrave. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch, beware the jub bird and the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vocal sword in hand, long time the man's own for he saw. And as he stood and up his thought, he practiced questions I messed that up, but he practiced his questions. And as he stood in preparation for it, the interview with eyes of flame came intimidating through the tulgey wood and dictated as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2 with help pit crew. I am due help went through and through. He was tired, but he got hired as he went triumphant back. And hast thou aced the interview, my boy? Come to my arms, my baby son. Kalu Calais, oh fragile day, they ate donuts in their joy. So 'twas Billigan the slyly told to down and give on the way. All men see where the photographs of the moon rats. How great. So I put a little of what I said in there, but I'm going to repeat it because I kind of mixed it up a little bit. So from the job searcher's point of view, so I was Billigan the slyly told to down and give on the way. All men see where the world grows and the moon rats. How great. Beware of the interview, my son. The jaws that the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the recruiter bird and the ATS pander snatch. He took his selling mindset in hand, long time the interview he sought. And as he stood in preparation thought, he prepared questions as he thought. And as he stood in preparation thought, the interview with eyes of flame came intimidating through the tulgey wood and dictated as it could be. 1, 2, 1, 2, the vocal blade and Snickers down. But that's going to be replaced by 1, 2, 1, 2. With help, pit crew, and I am due help. He went through and through. Oh, so where am I? And so he took his, let me go back, he took his selling mindset in him. Let me just go back to towards the end, because I think I've screwed it up now. All right. And hast thou aced the interview, my son? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, fragile day, blue clay. They did eat donuts in their joy. So 'twas Billigan the slyly toasted, guy gibbling away. All men see the photographs, and the job search to rest was laid. So after screwing that up, it's finally over.
Whew. How did you remember all that?
Well, I did.
All right. Success workshop.
Well, I just talked about that enough.
Okay.
So if you want to sign up, just use that QR code to send me an email and say I'd like to register for the workshop. And I'll get you scheduled like I mentioned. There's one slot. I'm going to do 1 or 2 people at a time. We do it online, 9 to 11 Central Tuesday. So next following Tuesday. I always hate saying next Tuesday because everybody thinks that's 2 Tuesdays from now, and I'll get all screwed up with that. So anyway, it's the very one that's going to show up on the calendar after today. Okay, be glad to have you participate.
Hey, well, I'll take that spot. I'll email you shortly.
Do it fast. There may be somebody already have you. Yeah,
I'm on it.
And who's talking?
David.
David Ramirez.
David. Okay, David.
Thank you.
Well, use that QR code and that'll start your email.
I'm on it. Yep.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Quick word about pit crew. In this room every Wednesday from 1 to 3, we have the pit crew, which is the practice interview team. Please come and observe other people being interviewed. We do 3 per week. And then after you're comfortable, sign up for your own interview. It's very enlightening. There's nothing like having a live interview with a panel. It's the hardest interview you'll have, which is great because it prepares you for the easier interviews that are going to come later. So both Walt and I are panelists, as is Anthony and Jeff Morris. So a lot of support there. We appreciate it. Special announcement, next week is online. Usually it's the 4th Wednesday that's online, but because of Christmas, we're going to move it up a week. So next week, online. Following week, Christmas, no pit crew. Do not come here next Wednesday. You will be all alone. All right. Today's lunch, after networking or after the meeting, we're going to do some informal networking at Mama's Pizza right down the road on Parker. Please join us. And it is now time for the main event. Jeff Morris is with us. We are very, very happy to have him back to talk about effective resumes. By way of introduction, go back to our, figure out. No, it's not gonna work. So I'm just gonna go back here. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Jeff Morris started this group and has led North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group since 2007. In 2008, he created careerdfw.org, 2012 careerusa.org. He has written the book, What I've Learned About My Job Search that you may not know. I have a copy. I read it. It's very good. And today he's going to talk about resumes. And with that, Jeff, please join us. Drew, bear with us.
All right, thank you very much. Glad to be here. Let me take these off so I can see. And okay, well, so my background is I've got 20 plus years experience as a hiring manager. I've been doing this for 16 plus years, offering career help. I've placed candidates in a variety of roles and
put the microphone closer to
closer. And I've been part of the Dallas Pick Crew since 2017. The one thing, you know, we're going to talk about resumes and we're going to talk about the applicant tracking system. We'll be talking about a one-page bio, about a master resume, the key components of a resume. But the one thing to remember is your resume will not get you a job. No resume. I've never hired somebody strictly off a resume. The resume will get you a phone call. How well you interview during how well you talk at the at the phone call is what's going to get you your next job. So to me, a resume is strictly it's a fishing hook. It's just something to get them to call you. If you're not getting any phone calls, you probably need to change your resume up a little bit. Like, you know, this is the point of resumes right here. I want my resume to be the one that you remember. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is some of you know Charlie Zinger. He works in Dallas, part of Career Management Partners. These are some advice tips from him, and then I'll go into the stuff that I want to talk about. So first, he talks about technology. Your resume needs to be ATS compatible, and we'll talk about what that is. The second thing is you've got to match your resume to the job posting. So no generic resumes. You've got to customize your resume to fit. You've got to pay attention to detail, word usage, verb tense, and no errors. One little error, they're going to kick it out and they're going to go on to the next resume because they probably got 100 for whatever job they're posting. And they'll find somebody who has not submitted an error. Style, how to display multiple roles within one company. If you worked I worked for a company for 13 years and I had 6 different jobs. And how you show that's real important. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Other advice from him is you want to use Arial. I don't like New Times Roman because it's got all the little serifs on it. I like a clean font like you're looking at now. So the Arial, Calibri are to me the best fonts to use. Never mix fonts. Keep all the fonts the same. Nothing larger than 14 points. Nothing smaller than 9 points. no headers and no footers, because applicant tracking system is a good chance it will just delete an header or footer. There are over 300 different ATS systems out there. They all don't operate the same way. I've heard from a lot of recruiters, they've gotten excellent resumes, but they don't know who it's from because they put their information in the header, contact information, and it didn't come over. They got a body of resume, it was really good. So no headers, footers. Bullets should only be the round black bullets like you see on this. No arrowheads, no starburst. That confuses some applicant tracking systems. Some can take it, but you don't know what the system is you're applying to. Keep the font color black. You can bold, you can underline, but less is best. You can use it to emphasize something, and no icons, no pictures and graphs. So those are the things that Charlie highly recommends. So I want to talk about the difference between a resume and a one-page bio. Everybody should have a one-page bio, I think. It's an extremely effective networking tool. This will help you when you're going to go meet somebody, if you're just trying. It's a high-level document that tells somebody who you are. You don't get in all the weeds. Your resume gets in all the weeds, and the resume says, hire me, help me, I'm looking for a job. A one-page bio just says who you are and how you can help companies. So it's not as active, or it's not telling somebody, help me. The resume is primarily a job search tool. The bio can you use many different ways. A lot of times you'll see an executive bio on a company website telling you who all the executives are, and it's just a high-level document to share information. So this is an example. This is one example, and these samples we'll send out when Matt sends out the email. He'll send all these attachments out, so you'll be able to get a copy of this. And this is done in a Word document, so you can go to modify it just as you want. You've got your name on there. Now on a bio, you can put your picture, and you probably should put your picture on there. It talks about the background, professional biographies. You can see all lined up there at the bottom. You list your education, contact information up at the top, and then your professional achievements. So you pick 4 or 5 of the things you've done the best, or you want to really talk about what you do, and you can list those things. And if you want to do your resume, you can do it horizontal, you can do it vertical, either one. This is from a CPA. The picture, once again, so all the contact information is right up at the top. He lists his competencies, professional achievements, his areas of expertise, targeting. And the one thing I think difference on this resume is this has target companies listed. You've got to be very careful about that. If you list a company, you better make sure that whoever you're sending this to, their company is at the top of the list. Okay. I've heard people's gone and sent us, and they send this to Coca-Cola, and they go, well, the guy says, well, you didn't even list this as your top company. So be very careful about that. This is probably, if you list target companies, is good if you're sending it to friends and family, but you wouldn't want to I wouldn't send it to somebody at a company myself. There's a great book out there called Be Sharp by Minna Brown. It's one of the 3 books I highly recommend in your job search. This is Minna's bio on the right-hand side, but besides being executive coach, she's an author, she's a public speaker. She trains executive coaches. So this bio is a lot more detailed than most. She actually has people with recommendations in the light grade section, and she talks about what she does in the white section. But the book's an excellent book. If you get it, be sure to get volume, the second edition. The second edition has about 50 different bios in the back of it, so you get all different samples so you can see how to do it. The first example doesn't, the first copy of the book doesn't have that. Okay.
Jeff, we're trying to get her scheduled February, March.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Master resume. Everybody should have a master resume. I was cleaning out my file cabinet the other day, and I found the file folder that says resume, and there's probably 20 different resumes in there from over the years, from when I got my first job in 1980 to current. So you should really put that in one big document, everything you've ever done in your professional experience. It can be 10, 15, 20 pages long. You never send that document out. You use it when you see you use it to get all the information out of your brain onto a document, so that when you see a job description, you can go through your master resume and eliminate everything that's unimportant. You want your resume to sell yourself, and everybody here has done a lot of great things that you want to talk about, but if they're not asking for it, it's not going to provoke them, or it's not going to provoke them to call you, because they're looking for somebody who can specifically do something in a job description. So, with this master resume, all your contact information, the addresses, supervisor names, any expertise, certifications, and software skills, list it all, because you don't want to have to think about, well, did I ever do that? Yeah, I guess I did. And they'd come up with how to add that to your resume. If you already have it done, it should make filing for jobs very easy. Okay, the characteristics of a good resume. The goal is to make it easy for the ATS system and for job screeners to determine that you're a good match for the job. We talked about, you want to match your resume to the job description. We're going to talk about formatting. Overall length is always a discussion. If you're new in the job search, and if you're new looking for a job, or if you're new at number of years you've been doing it, less than 7 to 10 years, you can get a one-page resume. Over that, you can do a 2-page if you work 20 or more years, or up to 20 years. You can do a 3-page resume, as long as everything you talk about is relevant to the job description. That's the whole key. The number of years, how far back do you go on the resume? Some people say just 10 years, some say more. A couple of options you always have is, you can show all of your experience, show the most recent 10 to 15 years of experience. Or what I like to do is show your recent 10 to 15 years of relevant experience, and then have a section called prior relevant experience. By doing that and having that section, you can then talk about it in an interview. If you don't list a company you worked at 20 years ago on your resume, and you tell a story about what you did at that company, a good chance the recruiter is going to say, well, I don't see that on your resume. When did you do that? Or where did you do that at? And I'll show you how to list that on a resume here in just a second. Fonts for your resume: Arial, Calibri, Tacoma, Helvetica, the 4 that I recommend, because they're plain and clean and simple. The next couple, Times New Roman, Garamond, and Calibri, I'm not a fan of the little serifs that are on there. I think it's harder to read resume, and you want to be as easy as possible. No fancy fonts, no wingdings, keep it simple. Margins, you want generally want one in margins, 1 inch margins. I've seen a lot of resumes, they have so much information, they just getting closer to the edge of the paper. Well, there's no white space is good because it gives people somewhere to write down notes if they happen to print it out. So if you can, 1 margins. It's okay if a resume goes 3 pages nowadays because number one, people don't print out resumes. They're looking at them on a computer, and as they scroll through your resume, they're not going to really see that it's well, they may see it's 3 pages, but it's just going to flow right through for them. Bullets, keep them round as we talked about. I think that's the simple black round button is the best. You can use bold, underline, or italics, but use it very carefully and deliberately. So it's talking about what you want to emphasize. Do not use text boxes, headers, footers, any templates. Microsoft has got a lot of, you can just download templates off the internet that you can just fill in. I would not use those because a lot of ATS systems won't recognize the template. It won't see the little sections you've set up. No shadows and no graphics. What do you do if you haven't been working for a couple years and you want to, fill the hole? If you haven't worked in 2024, what do? You can add, you come up job titles. What have you been doing? What if you been doing some volunteering somewhere? If you, can you call it community leadership, consulting, or continuing education if you're going back to school? So fewer things you can work on is, bullets you can use to describe your work is your consulting work you've done, even if it's for a nonprofit organization, and even if you're consulting for your local religious organization. I wouldn't list the religious organization, just call them a nonprofit and would know, but your generic titles would work. You can talk about volunteer leadership you've done and any certifications you've got if you've been doing that while you've been out. Here's an example on a resume. This person put the category as community leadership and consulting, served as a panelist and coach for the Dallas practice interview team to help job seekers with interview skills, provided consulting services to a local nonprofit, that happened to be her church, on how to prepare and conduct job interviews and how to evaluate the candidates. So you should be able to come up with something to fill that time, even if you've been taking care of a parent. You can list you'd be responsible for financial, for medical conditions, for all that kind of stuff. Just list that because nowadays we're all having to deal with our parents and help them out and to help them, and that's fine. Take time off for that.
Yeah, when does that start?
3-4 years ago, not when we needed it, but
right.
probably 3-4 years ago, I at least start to see it show up on resumes. And it's fine if you're interviewing with an older person. If you're interviewing with a 20 or 30-year-old, they may not get it. But anybody who's our age, we're going to understand, there's more of that and things we need to take care of.
I think it's increasing all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time. So the key components of a resume we're going to talk about is a heading, the summary, an optional area called key accomplishments, and that's primarily for salespeople. Professional experience, previous relevant experience. It says optional here, but quite frankly, I think it's a really important thing to put on there. because you never know. You may have, like in my daughter's case, first job that she had out of college was IBM. Well, she's going to want to say that on a resume from forever, because IBM, it being such a large organization, everybody knows it. It's going to be good for her to put on there. Then we'll talk about education and software skills. So for the header section, use the name you want to be called. Don't use your official name from your driver's license. Whatever you ever recall, my full name is Jeffrey, but I just go by Jeff, and that's what I put on my resume. If you have an unusual sounding name or hard to pronounce name, in parentheses, phonetically spell it out for somebody to make it easy, because I would bet that recruiters have gone to the next resume or disqualified somebody because I don't know how to say their name. I'm not going to mess it up. I'm just going to go find, if I can find somebody with an easier name. So if you have, and that same thing on LinkedIn, if you have an unusual sounding name and hard to pronounce, phonetically just put in parentheses just after the name. You want your phone number, email address, LinkedIn address, and just put the city, state, and zip code. You do not need to list your local address. It's not important. You'll do that on a job application. Your email and LinkedIn address should not be links. So you want to right click on it and then say remove hyperlink. So it's just a plain black link.
Jen, I've heard that if you are looking for a job in another location, to use that city and state, not your local. So if you're looking for something in Irvine, California, you put Irvine, California.
Right.
Okay.
All right. The summary profile. Your summary statement is not an objective. You want to be sure to include key areas of expertise, things that you've done, and this paragraph should be modified for every application you fill out, because you want to talk about and use the language from the job description in this summary statement, because recruiters will read this. They may not read the rest of your resume, but they usually will read this to see, is this person who can do what we need done? Also, then add areas of expertise. I say 9 is the perfect number. Now, this is not a table. This is tab, agile methodologies, tab, scrum, tab, requirement gathering, return. Because if you put it in a table, some ATS systems won't read tables. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's similar. Yep, I've got mine area expertise so it looks similar to kind of how I have it on my LinkedIn, which has the vertical separation, a little dash, but it's, up and down in between those. Do you not recommend doing that?
To me, that's just extra characters that don't need to be seen. I mean, I would, so they're all right close to another. You don't have a lot of space between them.
They're, it's like, I think that says agile methodology, something like that. And then I would have a couple spaces, the line, couple spaces, then the next thing, couple spaces, the line, then the next thing.
I guess the question, if you're comfortable with it, do you? There's no right or wrong resume.
The reason I'm asking is, does the ATS system say, oh, we don't like that, kick it?
If it's done in a table format, they're not.
It's not table, it's Word.
If this is just words, spaces and stuff, that should be okay.
Okay.
Those words should be called okay. I just like this because it's clean. It's 3 columns. If I ever interview you at the pit crew, I say, right, you've got 9 areas of expertise. What are your top 3? And your top 3 better be the top 3 that are listed on the top here, or the or the 3 over on the side here. So make sure that one of these 2 areas is when you list your top 3. And where do these come from? These come from the job description. Make sure you're using the same wording, and formatting from the job description to fill that out. All right, the next section, key accomplishments. This is usually a sales and business development people. They want to show, you know, big numbers, what they've done, what they've succeeded in. The only problem I have with this section is if you do this, you've got to also list it under the job that you did it at. Because, you know, if you, you know, in some cases, you exceeded $1 million sales target, you know, if you're working for IBM, well, $1 million is nothing. That's a drop in a bucket, you know. So from you know, to be able to see your accomplishment relative to the job, if you do this, just be sure to list it also underneath the job description. Professional experience. You want your resume to be chronological. People don't want functional resume. Most recruiters will not handle that. You've got to use parallel verbs. Once again, this is something they'll get you thrown out very quick. Your resume thrown out really quickly, because if you're not using those correctly, it'll be a problem. So here's an example. For the current job, analyze, ensure, serve, those are current verbs. Now the 4th one, achieved, is something that this person did in the past. Well, that's okay, because at a current job, if you've been there a while, you may have worked on a project that you're no longer working on, so that is in the past. But for past jobs, make sure that all the verbs are in past tense: engaged, translated, reduced, facilitated, saved. You know, they will, recruiters are just looking, they have so many resumes they go through, just looking for mistakes. You know, if it doesn't hit them, if they don't like it, it's on to the next one to find somebody who they do like. I say you should include a 1-line description of the company. So you'll see here, Company A, Fortune 500 software development firm specializing in software for the real estate agents. Even if you're working for a top 50 company that everybody knows IBM, everybody knows Exxon, whatever, still go ahead and list it. It just because it'll keep the formatting the same through the resume, because you've probably also worked for companies that you've never heard of. You know, I've been doing this for 17 years now, and you hear about new company names all the time, and you're not sure what they are.
One technique I've used and I've seen others use is, instead of having the 1 page or 1 line rather for the company description, use that to describe your role. Instead, it's kind of what I've been using it for. Any thoughts on that?
You could usually that becomes the first bullet for the role. So after the job title, I'd list that, make that my first bullet, explaining, or I'd put business analyst dash, and then put that information on the role. That's how I would do it. I just like mentioning what a company does, because there's so many companies out there now. You know, I've never heard of new companies. Every Friday come here, I hear about a new company I'd never heard of before from somebody. You want to limit the number of the bullets per job, 4, 5, 6 probably, and they've got to be ones that are on the job description, because you want to match your job description to you want to match your resume to the job description. And be sure to focus on results. This is a biggie. I see so many resumes, and they read like a job description. There's no results in them. At the end of this, I'll have to Matt come. There's another resume I want to show you at the very end by a speaker we had last summer, who his formatting is really different, and I think it's important you see it. You'll get it in the email as long as your contact information is in the chat window. Your professional experience, limit to 5 to 6 bullet points. They should focus on results. Bullets should not sound like a job description, just like I mentioned, because if I'm looking for somebody to increase productivity, I need to see that you've done that at other places. This other resume you'll get at the very end. His thing is he would tell me what you did, the words resulting in, and then the result. Every bullet point would be in that format. What I did, resulting in, and then tell the result. The other thing you can do is focus on results, play the so what game. So here in this case, the person had on the resume guided the next phase to brand revolution for a multimedia artist and managed film production and publishing. The question was, so it doesn't tell me really any result. Well, this increased the business opportunities, which led to 10 new commissions for my client. So that's the result. That's the important part. So they rewrote it, increased business opportunities, including 10 new commissions for my client based on developing a full social media and PR strategy. So you can put the result first, it's okay, but just make sure the result is in every bullet point that you have. And then every bullet point that you do have on a resume, you've got to have a star story ready to go. So I always recommend take index cards and on the side of it, put STAR, and then put down one sentence for, here is the situation. This is what's the task I took. This is the actions I did, and here is the result. Because when you do get that interview, that's what's going to happen. They're going to want to know, they're going to want to hear the story, and you need to have those ready to go. How do you handle multiple roles at one company? So this is one of the things that Charlie talked about in the beginning. What you want to do is you want to put the company name, city and state, and what they did at the top. And then underneath it listed 2 jobs. So you'll 2010 to 2014 carries down till the next time you see the dates farther down on the right-hand side. And then you put the dates of each job you had next to that job. Because if you were to do it the other way and put those dates out to the right, it makes you look like a job hopper. 2 years, 1 year, 2.5 years, 3 years, if you had multiple jobs as you move up at a company. So by putting those jobs next to the job title, you make it, it helps people understand that this all happened under one job. Like I said, I had six or seven jobs at a company for 13 years, and I didn't want it to show small. Shows that I worked at a company the entire time. How do you handle companies that change names? Most companies do change names. There's 2 ways to do it. Give the current name of the company followed by the old name, XYZ Incorporated, formerly ABC Company, or give the old name of the company first and with the possible date of the M&A when they were acquired. So ABC Company acquired by XYZ in 2008. I remember we had a person I was working with, and he worked for Campbell Soup. There was a Campbell Soup plant within 20 miles of here, but it's not Campbell Soup anymore. The name's changed twice. And he told me what the name, I didn't know this name of the company. I didn't recognize the name. He said, oh, we're the old Campbell Soup place. you want to put Campbell Soup first because everybody knows what that is. They're not going to know what those other two names is. Put down whatever the most famous name is.
Yeah, Jeff, quick question. Going back to the previous slide, when you worked for one company for an extended period of time, obviously you're changing roles in the middle of the year. What's your perspective about using months and years to specify the exact time frame of your transition from one role to the next? Is that important? No.
No, well, to me, you're putting more characters on a resume. You're cluttering it up more. The less cluttered, white space is good. So, all you need is years. If you're going to fill out a company application, they're going to want months. They're going to want months and years. But on a resume, I would just use years. Just it makes it easier to see. Education, you want to list your degree, your major, the name of the school, the city, and the state. And then you want to list software skills. It's important that you list any program that's out there. And if the company, let's say there's a product on a job description and you haven't used that exact product, you've used a similar product, list the name, list the product you've used, and then in parentheses, put down similar to X, so that you get their name, that name on there. So once again, the ATS system will see you. If you don't have a degree, write school, city, state, major area of concentration, and the number of hours you've got complete. And if you're still going to school, you can say expected graduation, fall of 2025 or something. So it's on there. Tell the truth on education. Remember, there was a coach up at Notre Dame who he would coach for 2 weeks because he put false education recommendations or qualifications. He listed false qualifications there. So tell the truth. Okay, so here's a resume on the right, job description on the left. I like to go through, get a highlighter and highlight what I think are the important terms. So business analyst, I'm going to make sure that off the job description, I'm calling my resume the exact same thing. There's a customer relationship specialist and there's a customer service rep. They're pretty much the same job. But if they call it customer relationship specialist, I'm going to modify my resume to say I was a customer service, the same kind of position. Business requirements. I'm going to make sure I put those keywords over here. So all the keywords that are on the job description, I want to make sure they show up in my resume, wherever they may be. Cross-functional. Agile, Scrum, Virtual Studio, multiple sources, user manuals. So, whatever keywords you see, pull them over because this will help you, your resume match. Business process flow charts. So I'm going to use the exact wording from one to make sure they show up on my resume. So remember, keywords are very, very important. This is all that makes up all the difference in the world. You've got to, it's all about keyword matching. That's what's going to get the, you got to remember a lot of recruiters, this could be their first job out of college. They may not have no idea what a process engineer does. They were given a job description that says, find me 10 people who can do this job. So they're looking for matching words that can go between the two documents. Resumes are scanned, they are not read. Nobody reads a resume. They read who you are, your summary statement, maybe areas of expertise, and then they go to the very end to see your education. Do you qualify for that? The only time our resumes are read are usually by the hiring manager if you're one of the final 10 people that the recruiter has turned over to the hiring manager and said, here are the 10 best that I found. So just know that. A resume will not get you a job. It only will get you a phone call. So, you know, don't have analysis paralysis. We had a person here in this room a few years ago, and she was like 6 months in. I'm going, how are things going? Well, I'm still working on my resume. I'm not sure if I want to do this or I want to do that. And it was just like she was just stuck, not doing anything, not applying for anything because she didn't have a resume to submit because she didn't know what she wanted on there. Just put something together, get it out there. If you're getting phone calls, it's working. If you're not getting phone calls, you may need to change something. And most importantly, when they call you up, thank them very much. Thank you for calling. What was it on my resume or my LinkedIn profile that made you reach out? Because you want to know why they called you. Because when you find that out, you then know what to talk about in an interview because it's important to them. Okay. I've heard of people who've gotten phone calls for 2 words off the second page of their resume way down there. You know, I think anybody, you know, even would see that, but that's what caught their eye and that's why they called you. So just ask about that. So that's what I have. How can you want to show me how to can I get to my folder here? I want to get to, oh, this is my folder. Okay. And then share this.
Very good.
Oh, just
Very good delivery. Like that.
Yeah. Let me show this resume here. All right, so this is very neat. This is a 3-page resume. So the contact information's at the very top. I'm not a fan of putting non-smoker on my resume. I don't know the advantage or disadvantage because most companies, they're all non-smoking, and I don't know if I'd want to promote. I mean, I don't smoke, I've never have, but I don't think I would. That to me is not an important thing I would put on a resume. They put an objective statement next. This select accomplishments. So they have 4 things here. They list their employment summary, all listed here and what they did. And then at the very bottom, they put a whole paragraph of keywords, which somebody will get this and go, well, you're just trying to fool the ATS system. Well, you say not. You want to make sure that the ATS system sees what I can do and things I have expertise in. Because when you get to page 2 and 3 of the resume, it actually is set up just like a regular resume. So, there's no difference of showing out here. So you'll get a copy of this that you can, if you want to see. The person who, this speaker, if you want to go back and watch his interview, his session, it was in 2023 in the summer. And if you go to the resume tab on the Career USA YouTube channel about resumes, you can go back and find his presentation. Rick Gillis is his name. Rick Gillis. Yes. Yeah. Question?
I actually taking notes as you were talking. I've got 3 of them.
Okay.
And when you're talking about creating a master resume a while ago, everything back to high school, most of the people I worked for in high school and college are probably dead. So what do we do about being able to reach out to folks in past jobs that either you can't find or don't exist anymore? That's my first question.
Okay, well, in my particular case, only one of the companies since 1987, only one of the companies I worked for still exists. And they've changed names twice. So, you know, I'm not going to have contacts that I could give somebody, and you just don't. So you just want to make sure you've got fairly recent recommendations on your LinkedIn profile, and anybody that you can get a hold of, if you can, do. I mean, if it's possible, and if they don't exist, you know, you can take them off your master resume.
That's one of the reasons I'm not able to help people very well here, because it's been a while since I've known these people, and a lot of them retired or don't exist anymore.
Yes.
Second question had to do with what you were describing in the heading, city, state, zip code. One of the things we talked about in this group several years back was that if you put a zip code there, that can disqualify you if the HR person is believing, okay, this person works in far north Dallas, there's no way in the world I should consider them for anywhere else south of downtown, for example.
You cannot list your zip code if that's what's important, and just put Dallas or DFW area. I mean, you can be generic like that on that would be okay. You just have to know that a lot of recruiters, when they put in what they're looking for, the job title, and they'll put in, usually they're looking for somebody within 25 miles of a zip code. And that's what they want the zip code for, so that the computer can go and say, well, how far is that zip code from our zip code?
If the job's in Abilene, then don't apply for it from Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. And my third question had to do with something that's come into my world in the last several years, and that is when you were talking about education a minute ago, colleges, universities, that's easy. What about education that we have gleaned from Career USA videos, from YouTube, from places that are not actual institutions of learning? How do we do that?
Well, I would think, I don't know how you'd put that on a resume. I mean, that would be during an interview when somebody says, well, what have you been doing for the last year? You know, and then you could talk about the education things you've gotten. You know, I don't know if I would list Career DFW or Career USA lessons from that.
It's got me confused because most of the AI learning that I will have been doing is going to come from Matt or somebody else that I've known who is an expert on it and has posted really good salient knowledge.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody else suggests comment on that. I'm not sure how I'd use that. Informal education, yeah. That would work.
And I guess we name the actual conspirator. That would be Matt in this case, right?
I have a comment on it. I'm thinking that the education you list is something that is quote unquote certified. You know, bona fide education, somebody somewhere. It might be a Udemy because it might be a class from a university. It might be something like that. But to just learn something informally, I think that's a discussion, not resume.
Yeah, I know at one point I had taken some classes from one of the insurance companies on, you know, keeping the company safe and whatever. And I used to list those. I don't list them anymore, but you know, they gave you a little certificate when you were done, but you know, I don't really it probably was worth at the time to list, but nowadays I wouldn't list it.
I have a recommendation.
Okay.
So I have a pretty a YouTube channel recommendation actually that's become one of my favorites, and it covers basically everything job search and So you can learn a lot about, you know, not just resumes, but also like interview questions and how to answer them, and, you know, like it'll give you some tips also about how to spot fake job postings, and even just some other, and just a lot of other useful information. It's called A Life After Layoff. Once again, it's A Life After Layoff. Covers so much about like job search, and it's all like from a recruiter's perspective as well, because the guy that runs the channel has over 20 years of experience actually being a corporate recruiter. And so he just shares his knowledge that he's gotten from over the many years that he's been a corporate recruiter, and he's just kind of turned that into his own business essentially. And that's, and he, I think he gives a lot of very useful information, and it's, obviously it's just, it's all out there on YouTube for free. So you can, so if you're unsure about how to answer certain interview questions, or even, you know, just of things to put on your resume and others that you can just leave off, you know, and just many things like that. That's a fantastic YouTube channel to watch videos on and learn stuff from a recruiter's perspective. So that's something I wanted to share. I always like, you know, being able to recommend YouTube channels like that, and that'll have useful information out there for people. So thank you.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to point out, if you want to get these handouts today, if you want to go to the careerusa.org website, click on resources, come down here to video and handouts. And I can't see, effective resumes. So right here, this first one here, what I have listed here is, this is the, this will take you to the YouTube channel about speakers who've talked about resumes. And then here are all the samples, the 2 sample bios we talked about, the effective words. And so this is all available on the page, and you can download any of them right now. Then the other things on here, interviewing, LinkedIn, and networking things that we've done. And then the other sessions from past Fridays are here on this channel here. So they're all there, right there for you.
Hey, Jeff, I dropped the link in the chat for you.
Oh, thank you very much. So that's my presentation. I'll answer any of the questions you've got, or.
I have a question about the hyperlinks. You said to not include the hyperlinks. I have 3 in my resume. I've always been told make it easy for people to get access to you. So my email address is a hyperlink, my LinkedIn address is a hyperlink, and the patent that I have in my name is a hyperlink. And I fear probably easy enough for people to copy and paste the LinkedIn and the other one, but finding a patent is difficult.
Yeah.
Why the recommendation?
Well, the recommendation is because some ATS systems don't like hyperlinks. So if you're sending the resume to a person, it's okay to put the hyperlinks on there. But if you're using it to be for the ATS system to try to suck that information in, or to call it up, you know, G's go down and G's, Y's go down into the line underneath the hyperlink, and some ATS systems will confuse what it is. So that's what I've just been told for certain, and it's only some ATS systems that can't handle hyperlinks, but we don't know which ones, you know, you don't know what you're applying to. So if you want to make sure your resume can be seen by anybody, it just makes it easier that way. That's why.
Thank you very much. And just a comment, I got a lot of good nuggets today, but one of them that stuck with me was asking people why they called me. What was it on my resume that caused you to call me. I haven't done that market analysis, and that's really what it is. You want to know what's drawing people to send you, something on LinkedIn or to, call your phone. And so I really appreciated that.
Because that's what you want to talk about. I mean, when you're talking to an interview or, recruiter, that's why they call. That's what they're looking to fill.
Thank you.
Jeff, in the summary and areas of expertise section, you talked about maybe having up to 9 areas of expertise, but what about the paragraph? You have there in the sample that you showed a 3-row kind of paragraph that talked about, like, I think it was, the title was business analyst or something like that. How long is too long?
I think your summary statement shouldn't be more than 3 or 4 lines.
Okay.
Because people don't read a big block of text. 3 lines they'll read for sure. Maybe 3 lines and a couple words on the 4th will be okay. But, nobody wants to read a novel. Keep it short and keep it distinct to what they're looking for.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
On Toronto. Sorry, we said to speak. And this is like a process question, but when your resume goes into that, I don't know if anybody knows, goes into a company, does it automatically get put into the ATS system, or does somebody pick it up and look at it and then decide to drop it in there? It just occurred to me while we were talking, I wondered what happened to it.
Well, if you send it to HR, it probably gets scanned and put into an ATS system. But if you send it to some individual, it probably won't. But it depends on who runs HR. And if the HR says every resume has to go through the system because of government regulations, especially any school, any government, any agencies sells to the government has to keep certain statistics. They're going to want to keep track of all that stuff. And that's why a lot of, when you fill out those online applications, they'll have a separate little section at the very end about what ethnicity you are and stuff like that. That's not linked to your resume at all. That's just so the company can keep the statistics that they have to for government contracts.
So related to related to the online posting, you upload your resume and it fills out everything that they want you to fill out, or you can fill it out manually if it doesn't do it correctly. Which part of that goes to the ATS? The resume that you uploaded, or the things that you filled out on their application system?
The things you filled out on their application system is the ATS. I've heard from many recruiters, only a couple of them that don't say this, that they don't read. Most recruiters pop open your resume. If the ATS system says, look at Joe Smith, they're not going to look at what the ATS system has because that's usually not formatted very well. They'll call up your whatever resume you attached. So.
All right, follow up. Whenever they're sending something to the hiring manager, they send the attached resume, typically?
Yes. They'll send the attached resume and they'll send, or they'll print them out and give them, the 10 printed resumes that they recommend. Depends on how big the company is. Bigger the company, the HR department's going to force you to use the ATS system. The smaller company, and look at small companies. You can be a bigger fish in a smaller sea, and just to say I just want to work for Exxon or IBM or one of the Fortune 50. My daughter was very unhappy working for IBM because in the 2.5 years she was there, the ship only maybe moved 1 degree. There was no movement when she went to work for the second company every 3 months. She was taking care of her project. It was done. It was finished. It was uploaded to the web and on to the next project. So she got more done, to see things. Anybody else? Okay.
Going once? Any more questions online?
No, it was very informative, very good, worthwhile. Have an excellent weekend.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
And thank you for pinch-hitting.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Impressive resume presentation. Thank
you. Not only a big thank you for being here, but a big thank you for pinch hitting at the last minute. We had a cancellation this week. And so I think it was only a couple days ago. Jeff raised it and said, I'll cover. So thank you very much. All right. Just a quick reminder, you saw. Thank you. How's that? All right. Just a reminder, you saw a little bit a second ago, but the careerdfw.org website has a lot of useful information. One of the most useful things I find is the calendar. If you click on the calendar and then click on everything, you can click on the graphical view or the agenda view and see everything that's coming up. There's anywhere from 6 to 10 things per day that you can attend. I recommend that you go here every Sunday night, look at what's coming up for the week, and fill your calendar with all the different things that you want to attend and rotate through them. Excellent, excellent resource. And while Jeff was talking, Patty pointed out that I haven't updated the calendar yet for next week's pit crew, which is online. When I get home this afternoon, I will update that. So just a reminder, next week is the online pit crew. All right. And here's how you get to the videos. Click on playlists.
Let me just make a note. See that section that says interviewing 13-part workshop? Well, part number 1 says, always ask the recruiter, why are you interested in contacting me or something? So if you want to see something about that, but the very first video is about some of that recruiting and preparation. All right, just wanted to mention that.
Thank you, Will. Lots of playlists at the Career USA YouTube channel. That's one of them. If you want to see previous recordings of this meeting, click on the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group speakers. Make sure you click on the playlist, not the image. If you click on the image, it'll start playing. You want to go to the playlist and then select the one that you want to play. And it looks like that when you click on it. All right. Next Tuesday, LinkedIn Tuesday, the last one before we take a couple weeks off for Christmas and New Year's. Ruth Lipsky is coming, and she comes every week, but she's got a brand new presentation for us. So next week is not the usual Ruth Lipsky. She's got a new presentation called Back to Basics, Making LinkedIn Work for You. So if you've seen her in the past, great, but this is new material. So please join us on Tuesday for that. And as always, thank you for Patty Bashy for hosting that. On Wednesday, as mentioned, we'll not be here. We'll be online only for the pit crew. And there's the Zoom link, and I'll get the calendar updated. It'll also be in the weekly update that it's online only. And the upcoming session. So next Friday, The Joy of Stress, Preventing Hardening of the Attitude with Loretta LaRoche. Is that LaRoche or LaRoche?
LaRoche, yeah.
LaRoche. So she's French.
I have to show it because Jeff shows it every year in December. And so I think you'll all enjoy it. It has some good. I think you'll all enjoy it because it's got some humor and everything in it as well, but it's pretty good about our attitude and helping out. So I strongly suggest you take a gander at that one.
Thank you. The following week, we're off for Christmas, and then the week of New Year's, we are going to meet 2 days after New Year's Day, Friday, January 3rd. We will be meeting here in person for open forum as usual, because it's our first meeting of the month. All right, reminder, today's lunch is Mama's Pizza, right down the road on Parker. And thank you for joining us. Appreciate your attendance. We'll see you next week. Again, Jeff, great to see you. Thanks for coming and thanks for presenting.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.